Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Magyantamidandasya Gyanangana Shilakaya Chaksunimilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishram Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swa Dadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna. My mind longs for the blessed vision of my Guru. It cries out like a thirsty chikora bird. My thirst is not quenched, and I can find no peace without the vision of that blessed person. O Lord and Master, your face is most beautiful, and the sound of your words impart deep wisdom. It has been so long since this rainbird has had even a glimpse of water. Blessed is that land where you now dwell, my dearest friend and spiritual master. I give myself to you now and forever, O deliverer of my soul. When I could not be with you for just one moment, the dark age of Kali dawned upon me. When will I meet you again, O beloved Lord and Master? I cannot endure the night, and sleep does not come to me without your audience. I will surrender everything to have your darshan just one time again. It was my extreme good fortune to meet you, O most saintly of all personalities. And I will find you again in the eternal home where I meant to dwell. There I will serve you forever, and I shall never be separated from you, even for an instant. I am forever and forevermore your eternal servant, O my beloved Lord and spiritual Master. In public places, Krishna, I glorify your mercy, which is granted to even the lowest creatures, and which enables me, even though I am lowborn, to live in this forest of Braj, the place where your great devotees, who are filled with pure love, aspire to take birth, even as a blade of grass. Having accepted the renounced order of life, my home is now this Vrindavan forest. My bed is the soft dust of Braj. The sky of Braj is my blanket, and the flowering creepers of Vrindavan are my only belongings. The moon over Vrindavan is the lamp of my hopes, and my chanting beads are counting the days until I meet the divine couple, Shishi, Radha, and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. This evening, we're reading from Bhagavad Gita, the song of the Lord, the song of Lord Krishna. I've opened up here to 8th chapter, verse 15, well-known verse. Let's see. Abrahma bhuvanaloka punar avito arjuna mamopete kontaya punar janma nividyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. One who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Your hearing aid sound is coming all the way to the back.
little water? That's okay. So, once again, and again, and again, Harikatha, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Krishna Smaranam. This is what we do. One time, a businessman came to see Srila Prabhupada. He was encouraged by the devotees to come. He actually just kind of came out of duty. He really wasn't that interested. And Prabhupada began preaching to him. Quite strongly, actually. And the businessman, I think he fell asleep. So Prabhupada took a harmonium and he began playing. No kartals, no mridanga. You can just imagine. Just a sweet, very deep, resonating voice full of devotion. He started singing Hare Krishna for half an hour. And during that period, the man was like this. He didn't know anything about Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada wanted to impress upon him what is Krishna consciousness. So then Prabhupada finished, and he looked at this gentleman. He said, "This is what we do. Thank you very much. Goodbye." And this is what we do. Of all the various activities in devotional service, our primary activity is chanting the holy names. Why? Because, well, this verse instructs us where we're at. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest. This includes Auckland. All the places in misery where repeated birth and death take place. Heavy, Krishna speaking, really heavy. But the devotee always doesn't just lambaste the material energy, materialistic life, sin, etc. He always gives the positive alternative. This is Krishna consciousness. The expert preacher. He points out how to get out of darkness into light, how to get out of the material world into the spiritual world, how to get out of ignorance into knowledge. There's always a positive alternative. It's like the real cherry on the cake. You've had a cake, and you have the cherry on the cake. We always offer a solution, and we offer the ultimate solution. The word panacea is a very strong word. I was taking English in university, and I remember the teacher with this word panacea. We talked about it for 3 days. It means the solution. It means the solution. But this, chanting Hare Krishna, being the Yuga Dharma, it's the ultimate solution. Because Krishna says, okay, it's a terrible place, Abrahma, Bhuvalo, but one who attains to my abode, he never comes back. Krishna promise. So by practicing Krishna consciousness, we stop this repetition of birth and death, and we go back home. So this is the real meaning of panacea. I just wish I could meet my English teacher in the university and say, "Sir, but you didn't say." The ultimate solution is the Hare Krishna movement. I don't know what he would say at that time. But we should listen closely about the nature of this world, so we become disinterested. And we should listen closely to Krishna Katha, because that's the goal. The spiritual master has 2 duties. You want to simplify Krishna consciousness. He's teaching us to fall out of love, because we're in love with this world. My father used to wake up every Sunday morning. I still remember. Everything's coming up roses. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. And I'd go back to sleep. So we are in love with the material world. Rupa Goswami says in Pajavali, as young boys are attracted to young girls, and young girls are attracted to young boys, with the same intensity, but in a transcendental, loving way, my Lord, with that same intensity, let me fall in love with you. Everyone's experience, let's be honest, some fascination, your first love, trying to forget it, but very intense. But the intensity of bhakti, of amalaparam, pure devotion, it's very intense. The residents of Vrindavan love Krishna more than anyone's ever been loved before. And Krishna loves the residents of Vrindavan more than anyone's been loved before. And love is reciprocal. It's not a one-way street. Love means two. Ultimately, love means everyone ever created with Krishna, because he's the perfect lover, because he can satisfy everyone's loving propensity. You can satisfy your children, your neighbor, a few friends here and there, but Krishna can satisfy every single created being. He's quite amazing, Krishna. So when he speaks, we listen. He's Purushottam. Purushottam is like Ravana, Kamsa, Shishubal, the lowest amongst male personalities. Krishna is Purushottam. It means he's the utmost, the perfect of all male personalities. He's the authority on everything. Aham savasya pabhavo matasaram avartate. He declares. Who else can declare? Krishna declares that he's the source of all that is material and all that is spiritual. I mentioned it the other day. If you create something, hey, if I want to know about it, I go and ask you. I don't even ask the person who bought your product. You create a product, you make a patent, and if I want to understand it, I think, tell me something about this microphone. So the same principle holds true. He who created it, who maintains it and destroys it, and then recreates the whole show all over again. Paras tasmatu bhavanyo vyakto vyaktat shanatana. Krishna gives an indication. Beyond this world, which is sometimes created and sometimes destroyed, hey, there's an eternal world. Eternal world, where it doesn't say it in that verse, but it's eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So Krishna knows best about this material world. And of course, we would like to hear more and more about the spiritual world, but first things first. Can we stop the children, please? Maybe they have to go outside. Yeah. What was I saying? The babies always get me. Huh? Yes, to give up something, you have to get something better. So we have to know, first of all, we have two choices. This world and that world. So this world, let's spend a little time talking about it. Krishna gives his opinion, and he knows it best. He knows it best. So when he speaks, we have to listen. Of course, we've discussed many times about the material world. But we have to hear it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Prabhupada many times said, repetition about something is required to properly understand the fact. So some of you have been sitting in Bhagavad Gita classes for 30 or 40 years. Are we totally detached from this world? If a material desire comes to your mind, you just go, hut, hut, they say in India, the dog, hut. Or do you think, no. If you contemplate a material desire, even for a moment, that indicates that you still have some desire. So we have to do a lot of hearing and chanting, a lot of hearing and chanting, a lot of hearing and chanting. One time, Prabhupada said, at the very beginning of the movement, you American boys and girls are so passionate, I have to create so many activities to keep you engaged. Otherwise, best is if you just sit and chant 22 hours a day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. In days of yore, the spiritual master would only have to repeat something 3 times. In Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, perhaps before. This is Kali Yuga. Tatashtanudinam dharma satyam socham samadhaya kalena balina rajan nanchat yayur malim shmiti. O king, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, austerity, duration of life, physical strength, and memory will diminish day by day, not week by week, year by year, slowly over youth to middle age to old, day by day, because of the powerful influence of the age of Kali. So we don't have the sensory perception, either materially or what to speak spiritually, like our forefathers had. I'm not just talking about grandpa or great-grandpa, I'm talking about your gotra. In India, there's a gotra. You're born into Vasishta Muni, Agastya Muni, these different. Our gotra is Srila Prabhupada. That's our line. But we're talking about way back when the spiritual master would speak, the student would not only, at first he would assimilate what the guru said, then he would understand it, and then he would realize it after 3 lessons. How unfortunate we are. Of course, we're the most fortunate because although we're the most fallen, we appeared in an age where the most merciful incarnation appeared, Krishna. This is a myth. Namo Mahabharanaya Krishna Prem Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namde Go Twishe Namaha. That verse is on most Gaudiya Vaishnava's tongue. But where does it come from? It comes from the heart of Rupa Goswami. He was living at Ramkeli, engaged in the service of Nawab Hussain Shah. Nawab Hussain Shah. He employed Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis there in his service. And he lived actually in a little village just next to that empire of Hussain Shah. I visited there recently. I went to the ancestral home of Srila Sanatana Goswami. And I saw the family deity, which is Madan Mohan. The original Madan Mohan, he's this big. That was the family deity, Madan Mohan. And then when Sanatana Goswami found Krishna in Vrindavan, he called him also Madan Mohan. This is his heart. So, Lord Chaitanya was on his way from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. He'd attempted a few times, but devotees just kept him in those places, Navadvip and Mayapur and Puri with their love, the ropes of love. He couldn't escape. Love reigns supreme in Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness. So, but he made it out of Puri. He started a beeline to Vrindavan. But on the way, so here's Jagannath Puri, here's Vrindavan. He's going like, all of a sudden, he goes up, then down. But why did he go up? To see his devotees, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. They'd been in communication with him. Actually, I believe it was Rupa Goswami wrote a letter. Can you imagine? They writing letters, much more personal than emails, WhatsApp. They were exchanging letters, and in one letter, was it Rupa? Katamashi? It was Rupa. He wrote, how do I'm so engaged in this emperor's service, how can I think of you all the time? So Lord Chaitanya wrote back. God wrote a letter. And it was delivered to Rupa. And the letter said, just like a woman who's married has a paramour, has a lover somewhere else, she doesn't let on to her husband. She's doing her duties very nicely, cleaning and cooking and shopping and things like that. But in her mind, she's always thinking of her lover. Paramour. So Mahaprabhu wrote, in the same way, you go on with your various activities for the Emperor Hussain Shah, but you always think of me within your heart. It's a nice thing. We hope one day, when oh when will that day be ours? That we can always remember Krishna and never forget him. That's the essence. It's the goal. How can you always remember someone, never forget them? If you hate them. Kamsa, Prabhupada said in a joking way, he said, Kamsa was very Krishna conscious. This term came from Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada paraphrased it. Krishna consciousness. Kamsa was very Krishna conscious. Uddhava from Dwarka, who came to Braj, Krishna actually sent him to see the love of the Brajavasis because Dwarka has some Aishwarya above, awe and veneration. So Krishna was very attached to Uddhava, so he sent him to Braj with some communication for the residents of Vrindavan, some letters. Uddhava, he also was always thinking Krishna, but out of love. So two examples. To always remember Krishna and never forget him. Out of hatred, like Kamsa, or out of Uddha, like love. So which side would you like? Who'd like to take the side of Kamsa? Very good. Who'd like to take the side of Uddhava? Mahajan, we follow in their footsteps. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went north, and then when he came around the corner, that was the first time Rupa Goswami saw him. And right from his heart, right from his mouth, came this verse. Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prem Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Go. Who is this incarnation? This Yuga avatar? Who is this Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radhe Krishna Nahi Anga? This combination of Radha and Krishna. Originally God was one, but for pleasure potency, because we can't really enjoy yourself, you have to have others to enjoy. That's the principle of enjoyment. Krishna expanded his Ladini Shakti as Srimati Radhika. And together we address them as the divine couple. But for the purpose of inaugurating the Sankirtan movement in this horrible age of Kali, as well, he had a little secret desire to try to understand how much Radharani loved him. Because he was the object, so he couldn't understand what is the nature of her life. He had to take her position. It's quite another lecture. So he appeared for these two reasons. So when Rupa saw him, what is this incarnation who has appeared to give the Yuga Dharma of chanting the holy names of God and elevating the people of Kali Yuga to Braj Bhakti? Braj Bhakti was even rare in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, a few great souls. And what is our qualification? Causeless mercy. Cause means there's no cause. Not that you've done something, you deserve it. It's the mercy. Brahmanda Brahmati Konya Bhagavanji Guru Krishna Prasad Bhai Bhakti. We're all here by the combined mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That's how we're thinking. So how indebted we are. How much appreciation, then there's affection, then there's love. We're sitting at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing like this. So he was amazed that in Kali Yuga, he's giving Braj Bhakti. Very few knew. Madhavinda Puri appeared just before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He started speaking about the love of the residents, the selfless love of the gopis. Love means to give more than you take, or to give everything and don't expect anything in return. That we see. Prabhupada said the closest thing to that love of Braj is the love of a mother for her child. Sometimes the mother will sacrifice her life for the child. Just an analogy helps us get a little understanding. So the residents of Vrindavan, that's that love. And it's very rare, even we know, pure devotional service is rarely attained. But this is the amazing thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give it. Madhavinda Puri introduced it. He was a sadhu. He was like Avadut. Paribhachakacharya Paramahamsa. Paribhachakacharya means, or Paramahamsa means fully realized soul. And Paribhachakacharya means he just wanders and shares. Whoever comes in contact, Hare Krishna. Paribhachakacharya, Paramahamsa. And he introduced Braj Bhakti. and the topmost love of the gopis. I was listening to a lecture, Prabhupada was speaking about the different, like in Brihad Bhagavatamritam, there's different devotees. They're all devotees, but there's like perfect, more perfect, and most perfect devotees. So he was speaking about different categories of devotees right from the beginning of his lecture, Prabhupada. And then he did the cowherd boys, then he did Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, like that. And then he came to the gopis at 3 minutes into the lecture. And Prabhupada said, and the gopis, they started crying. They never asked Krishna for anything. And the lecture stopped. In 3.5 minutes. Prabhupada introduced us to the highest understanding of Krishna consciousness. Who says Prabhupada didn't give us everything so many times? I saw Prabhupada cry in love of God on a number of occasions. That's another lecture. So Kalo Suddha Sambhavan, Varahaprana says, in this age of Kali, sorry, sir, I'm sorry. You may be president, prime minister, famous actress, famous artist, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Varahaprana says, Kalo Suddha Sambhavan. In the age of Kali, everyone's a Sudra. Everyone's a Sudra, or worse. But this Madhavinda Puri introduced this concept of Raj Bhakti. And it's interesting because in the spiritual world, in the Gaur Gunadesha Dipika, this is an authorized book, it's like the transcendental who's who. In Chaitanya Leela, who are those persons in the spiritual world? Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. We know that. And who's Madhavinda Puri in the spiritual world? He's a tree. When I first read that in the Gaur Gunadesha Dipika, he's a tree, in my foolish mind. But trees in the spiritual world, Krishna likes them, he wants them, he needs them because, they take rest under the trees, they eat the fruits, and they're called Viksha trees. You can get anything you need to serve Radhesham from a tree. Apple, orange, banana from the same tree, a cooking pot, some rice, some dal, some clothes. This is called Viksha. Variety is the spice of life. Different rasas in the spiritual world. There's Sivritarship, and then there's the cowherd boys, and Mother Yashoda, and the gopis. But Rupa Goswami says all of these different rasas are meant to serve the Madhurya ras of Radha and Krishna. Love reigns supreme. So it all helps. Everyone's happy just to do a little service, They're satisfied like that. So Madhavinda Puri, he's a tree. He's a Kalpaviksha. But where does he reside? At Nidhivan. There's Vrindavan, then there's sub-forest and sub-sub-forest and sub-sub. Nidhivan's at Sevakunj. It's the centerpiece of all of Krishna's pastimes, his loving pastimes with devotees there, gopis especially. So he's at Nidhivan, and Nidhivan is where Radha and Krishna meet, and just a few special girls get to come and serve them. It's another lecture, probably not meant to be said in Bhagavad Gita class, but it's there. It's in our teachings. Even the Sakis can't come because they're a little older. Just the young girls, like our little Mira. Where's Mira? Mira, you here? Or this little gopi. Yeah, she sings so nicely. What is your name? Yeah, you're good. Give her a big round of applause. She sings so nice. And give Mira, her name's M-E-E-R-A, Gopi. Mira Gopi. Give her. And Leela Rani's sang like an angel. Give her a round of applause. So he's a tree overseeing the confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna. He's perfectly capable of coming to this world as Krishna desires. It's Krishna's desire. It's Krishna's desire. We know who we are, and we know where we're going. That's not Bhagavad Gita, that's Bob Marley. We know Exodus, out of here. But these things are there, and they should be presented in a palatable way so we can understand. So Madhavendra Puri knew what he was talking about. And Mahaprabhu broke open the storehouse of love of God. By what? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. So we're fortunate to have this advice from the Lord, because just to be honest with you, when we look at the material world, sometimes it looks like a nice place, especially this country. I'll say emphatically right here, New Zealand, especially South Island, am I getting in trouble? The fjord, this is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Applaud yourselves. I know, because I've traveled for 54 years around the planet. I've been in most countries of this world. And some of them I liked, some I didn't like, some of this and that. And then one day I heard Prabhupada say on a tape, someone asked me, Prabhupada, you've traveled all around the world 12 times. Do you have any advice for us? Like where to go, where to settle down, where to put my kids in school? Prabhupada said, yes. Take sannyas. But we have Bhaktivegam, Manasakota Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Upashta Vegam. A devotee, he sees through his ears, not through his eyes. What is the verse? Kartamaji? No, the other one. One who has full faith in the Guru. Yashtadevi para bhaktir yatadevi takaru. I got it before you. You only got 2 words. One who has full faith in the spiritual preceptor and the Vedic literatures, the full import of Vedic knowledge is revealed. And what is that? Bhakti Vedanta. Vedanta means the knowledge. The highest knowledge is bhakti. So our glorious founder Acharya, he was given this name, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami, meaning he who has the topmost knowledge of devotion to the Supreme. It's a very appropriate name for our spiritual master, founder Acharya. Very appropriate. So we see through his words, not with our eyes. We can't, Prabhupada said, faith, he gave a definition. Faith means to put your trust in something sublime. Then he paused. He said, so this material world, is it sublime? No. Choo-choo, we say in Russian. Todo, Hindi. Little, how do you use your language? We can't put our faith here. We can put our faith in the spiritual preceptors and the Shastras, and if we keep that faith, ultimately everything will be revealed. It's a question of time, to be a little patient. Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sutta, he gives several verses, you have to be patient. In Kali Yuga, we want everything now. I want it all, and I want it now. I was distributing books in some mall, and this about 10 or 15 years ago, some song came on. I want it all, and I want it now. I said, sorry, buddy. You're going to get nothing forever if you stick around this material world. So we're being trained. This is sadhana bhakti. We can't jump ahead. Prabhupada said, work now, samadhi later. We know what is the goal, but we have to work progressively through the standard process of devotional service. That's okay. It's nice even then. Rupa Goswami says the first symptom of devotion or Krishna consciousness is a relief from the miseries of the material world, especially when we're doing the Yuga Dharma, which we should do as much as we can. Prabhupada said, if you've got time, chant Hare Krishna. I've never seen anyone lament or complain or criticize when they're chanting Hare Krishna. It's mystical. We're all laughing and singing and dancing. So while you're chanting, and you should chant more than the minimum. Why minimum? Why not more? Prabhupada said minimum, that means you can chant maximum. 192 rounds a day. I know some sadhus. I know a sadhu at Suryakund, he chants 192. He's in bliss. So we're beginners. It's okay. Babies are also beginners, but they're welcome in the family. Perhaps more than anyone else. Isn't it? Babies. I see there's lots of, this is like baby Loka here. Like falling from the sky or something. I have to tell him to get out, baby. We're like babies, but Krishna's our Father. And He's concerned if we start that we make it home. So when Krishna speaks, when the Mahabhagavatas like Srila Prabhupada speak, or when a senior devotee speaks, based on the Bhagavad Gita, that's our vision. When we look at the forest, like here, I kind of attach to the forest here. I have to detach myself. I'm going to Christchurch. I was thinking maybe I'll escape Christchurch and go to the fjord and get a boat and go into the lake and the mountains and see Lord of the Rings. No. I can honestly say I never watched it, but I saw some advertisements. Oh, that's a cool place, man. I want to go there. But I saw these ugly creatures, the hobbitses, hobbities, hobbits. Then someone said, they're not really there, it's just a movie, okay. But you see the photos, it's so nice, but you know, there's pretty green trees, there's deer roaming here and there, birds chirping, butterflies. It's peaceful, it's quiet. What's actually happening? If you've ever lived in a forest, you'll know there's a bitter and constant struggle for survival. Where every living entity in the forest is food for another living entity. That's Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 13, verse 47. Ahastani sahastanam, apadhini chatuspadam, Balguni tata mahatmam, jivo jivasa jivanam. Oh, those who are devoid of hands are prey for those who have hands. Those devoid of legs are prey for the four-legged. The weak are the subsistence of the strong, and the general rule holds. Jivo jivasta jivanam. One living being is food for another. Wow. And even those pretty trees in this world, you know, they're so nice. You've got amazing trees. But now I'm starting to feel sorry for all of them. Some of them are very old. Oh, that looks cool, man. Look at that. It's been around 3,000 years. Yeah. But that tree is also engaged in a bitter struggle underground. I took a botany class in high school, and we learned that the tree grows and the branches come out like that. When the wind comes, you know, it creates a lot of pressure for the tree. Just like we're expecting a gale today. I don't believe in it because they keep telling me there's a cyclone coming. I'm outside, I'm chanting my rounds, the birds are chirping. Maybe I should listen to the news too. But the trees have to be strongly rooted, otherwise that foliage will act like a sail, just push the tree over. So underneath, the roots of the tree generally spread out as far as the leaves. So you've got trees living very close to each other. What does that mean? They're all fighting for nourishment because they get their nourishment from the sun, and the air they get nourishment under the ground, the roots. So there's this heavy competition, you know, the roots are fighting the other tree. You can't see it. It's very slow motion. But they're fighting like this, and some trees die. Some don't get high enough to get the sunlight, so they perish. All those beautiful, that's a really, I love that forest. Hey, a lot of fighting going on there. So therefore, what we see with our eyes can often be an illusion, including, if you want to make, in a subtle way, material enjoyment. Elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami describes material enjoyment as Gandharva Pura I read that, oh wow, material enjoyment is the Gandharva Pura. Gandharva means higher planets, but Pura means house. So he says Gandharva Pura means material enjoyment is like a house in the sky. Hello, there's no houses in the sky. Right, so there's no enjoyment. Also, he uses another word to describe a horse egg. I forget what the Sanskrit is. Katamashi? Yeah. Kodadimba means a horse egg. Wow, material enjoyment is like a horse egg. That's cool. Wait a minute. Horses don't lay eggs. Right. So material life will never deliver anything that you're looking for. So you come into this world naked, and you leave naked. Krishna says, on this path, there's no loss or diminution. It's the best. If my dad was a businessman, he tried to be a businessman. Don't want to be a devotee. He said, best investment is you take a small amount of cash and invest something that gives maximum returns. I said, Papa, that's Hare Krishna. As Krishna says in this verse we're studying today, having once returned, you never come back. And what's your investment? Chanting, dancing, harikatha, feasting, going to the Dham. There's little effort, maximum result. Nevertheless, although we have all this knowledge, Maya is very expert at making the material world appear attractive. Not just for you, but devatas, demigods. How powerful. They're jivas. It's a post. They're so powerful. But the very first verse of the Bhagavatam indicates that even great demigods are fooled by Maya's ingenious plans. Bhuyante yat surya, tejuvare mada yata, vinimayo yat trishnargo. By him, Krishna, working with his servant Maya Devi, even great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen in water. Oh, demigods, Indra, he became jealous of that little boy. Krishna said, no more Indra Yagyas. Who's this rascal, 5 years old? He said that residents of Vrindavan should worship a mountain, Giriraj. That little rascal boy. They're not going to perform a yagya for me, Indra yagya. They're going to go Govardhan puja. It rained cats. No, it didn't rain cats and dogs. It rained rain. Like tonight, supposedly this cyclone. I still don't believe it. Believe it when I see it. Brahma chased after Vak, his own dog. So, what to speak about eensy, weensy, teensy, beensy? You and me, right? How do you describe the human race? Eensy, teensy, weensy, beensy. I think that's Rig Veda. No. To show the power of illusion, Srila Prabhupada once told the story how the great Duryodhana was illusioned from the Kauravas. One time, Duryodhana visited, it was the imperial palace of the Pandavas, before the battle, which had been constructed by Mayadhavana. And when he entered the palace grounds, on the way to the palace, he saw like what appeared to be water. There was a little pond there. So, the men would wear those kind of long skirts like you see in the paintings. He lifted up his skirt quite high, because maybe he thought it was about this deep. He lifted it up high to go in, but actually, it was just a crystal floor. It looked like water, but it was crystal. And all the ladies of the palace were out looking from above as the great Duryodhana lifted up his skirt, and they saw his underwear. He was so embarrassed. Mayadhavana. So then he came to what was a real pool of water. He thought, I'm not going to be fooled again. This is just crystal. So he just walked, boom, when he fell in. It's a magic trick. Then he approached what appeared to be a crystal door. And he attempted to open it, but there was no door and he fell in. So the ladies of the palace, oh, Duryodhana, oh, big Duryodhana. But again, we may be laughing at ourselves because we're not yet Jivan Mukta. We will become Jivan Mukta if we stick to the straight and narrow, Eke Kuru Nandana. We will. But right now, we have that tendency to contemplate, even for just a moment, some sense gratification. We have to be like, was it Yamunacharya or Bimal Mangal Thakur? Yada vadari mamma chitta Krishna padara vinda nava nava rasa dhamam ujjate rantum masit. Since my mind has been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought, and my lips curl in distaste. You're not there yet, but you're pretty safe. Prabhupada told my godbrother Satsvarup Maharaj when he handed him the danda, this renounced order of life. He said, never look back, Satsvarup. Never look back and think you've left anything valuable behind. Yes, Prabhupada. And never envy the position of the materialistic sense enjoyers. Yes, Prabhupada. We were sitting, Hari Bol, good night, Hare Krishna. We were sitting with Prabhupada at one darshan, and Prabhupada was giving, a basic lecture from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And he paused for a moment. I was sitting, right there. And Pragosh was there, Bipa Govinda Maharaj. We were all just 19-year-old boys, And then Prabhupada stopped and he leaned over like this. He looked at us. Please believe me when I say you're not this body. He was pleading with us. One time I heard him say, I am just hoping that some of my disciples will understand the deeper message of Krishna consciousness. What I'm trying to say. It's like under his breath. I want that, Prabhupada. By serving the Sankirtan movement of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one day one gets the mercy of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Prabodhananda Saraswati, Chaitanya Chandamrita. This is the secret. Work hard, help Prabhupada, spread the movement, become strong in your sadhana so you don't become weak outside, but spread the movement far and wide. This is our qualification. But there's another trick of, actually Prabhupada said Maya has two tricks. You boil it down, right? Elegance is truth spoken concisely, not a long-winded lecture like I'm doing tonight. But you summarize it. He said Maya has two tricks. To think I am the body and to think I am God. We have to overcome that. He said she has two big tricks up her sleeve. And Prabhupada said in one lecture about, overcoming this idea that I'm God, this Mayavadi philosophy. He told the story how sometimes the yogis, he called them yogis because the Bengali accent, the yogis, they actually make it to the point of seeing the super soul within the heart. They can get that far by the ashranas and the strict control of mind and senses and being in transcendence, by reciting mantras. Some of them can actually see the super soul. But Prabhupada said the mistake is they're thinking, there I am. You imagine, there's Krishna, there I am. Baba, you're not Krishna. Jivera Swapoya Krishnara. Nityadas, your eternal servant. So that's the trick. Maya can make us think I'm the body. If you're, a little proud, I am God. So to overcome the powerful, illusory tricks of Maya is not easy. Because who is Maya? Mahamaya. She's an expansion of Purnamasi. Purnamasi is the one, Yogamaya, who arranges all of the pastimes of Vrindavan. She meets at Gupta Kund with Vrinda Devi every morning. And they discuss when Radha and Krishna will meet, where they will meet, what clothes they'll be wearing, what words will be spoken, how the breeze is, how many butterflies, how many bees, how many birds, what different notes are the cuckoos singing, where the cloud will be, when a special note comes from a gopi message, everything. She does that every day at Gupta Kund, which is just next to Vrinda Kund. She comes into this world as, it's a thankless task, as Maya. So she who even causes the Brajabasis to forget that Krishna is God, and there's even a Sanskrit word, Kartamashi, what is it? That Krishna forgets he's God. What is that? That. Krishna forgets he's God. It's a leela, it's a pastime. It serves the loving pastime. She, as the warden of material existence, we're all in a prison house. It doesn't look like a prison. We've got the fjord, Maharaj. We have the hot pools near here. We have the, No. A prison typically has 4 walls, and you can't escape. So we have birth, disease, old age, and death, maximum security. You can only get out of here by mercy. Actually, when Maya Devi sees that we're trying our hardest to become disinterested, detached, fall out of love with the fjord, when she sees that, she gradually, this curtain of Maya, it fades away. It fades. And you see things as they are. There's a verse like that in the Gita. Just like, it's foggy. Do you get thick fog here? In Delhi, we get such thick fog, the planes won't land for a week or something. But if the sun, Surya Bhagavan, comes out, then, and you see it rather, now I can see. So Maya Devi, she's a devotee. She has a thankless task, but she doesn't want people who are selfish, addicted to sinful activity, hell-bent, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die, like the glad. They don't belong in the spiritual world. So she doesn't want anyone to interrupt her, Krishna's pastimes. So only when you're one fully Krishna conscious, all right, get out of here, go. Her tricks are so powerful that relatively very few have actually transcended. Dharma kari madhye bahuta karma nishta. Koti karma nishta madhye eket dhyani shreshta. This is the CC. Among the followers of Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. Out of many such sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who's a little wise. Koti mukta madhye dhulabha eka Krishna bhakta, koti jani madhye haya eka jhana mukta. Out of many millions of such wise men, one may actually become liberated, mukta. And out of many millions of such liberated persons, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is very difficult to find. Wow. Out of many millions of such wise men, one may actually become liberated, mukti, liberated from samsara, the repetition of birth and death. And out of many, those few, but millions of them, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is very difficult to find. Srila Prabhupada K. So this is the process. A very few souls may have reached it in the past. Well, let's say when Krishna was here. When Krishna was here, by his mercy, everyone could see him. Even the common man could see him. So poor us, we weren't there, we didn't see him. But fortunately, there's another alternative. Associating with the Lord's devotees, who, by his mercy, carry his mercy within this world. Twaja dujana samsagam, bhajasaru samaganam, kuru punya moho ratram, smara nitya manityatam. This is Niti Shastra, Canakya Pandit. Prabhupada said, Canakya Pandit, he wasn't a Vaishnava, but he had good advice. Give up the association of evil persons. Partake of the association of saintly persons. Perform pious deeds both day and night, and always remember the flickering nature of the material world. That's one of my favorite verses. Give up the association of evil people. Partake of the association of all the devotees in the congregation in this beautiful temple here. Perform pious deeds, say transcendental deeds, both day and night, and always remember the flickering nature of this world. Prabhupada summarized it again. Eloquence is truth spoken concisely. He said one time, you should have one good eye and one bad eye. This is in Detroit. I'm thinking, what? A bad eye? I don't want a bad eye. Just for a moment. And then Prabhupada said, good eye means to see the good things in this world and take advantage to engage them in Krishna's service. Like we're using the internet to preach now. We take planes to come here and be with all of you. But bad eye means you see dukkalaya mashashvatam, the temporary miserable nature of it. This is how a sadhu is equipoise. He's very learned in spirit, but that doesn't mean he's a fool in material subject matter. He knows that the essence of Rajavidya Rajaguyam, the king of education, wherein Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks a lot about the material world. And thankfully so. So, Bhaja Sadhu Samagana means associating with devotees. And you know, Nectar Devotion, it recommends associating with devotees. One of the 5, what they call angas of devotional service. Summarizing again, because, you know, we're not from Satya Yuga. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna, worshipping the deity, living in a holy place, and associating with devotees. That sounds like this place. Right? That's here. That's where you are. But, you know, it's a long road to Tipperary. It's a long, long way to go. It's an army song. American soldiers are going to fight in Africa. It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long, long way to go. What's Mara singing all these mundane songs tonight? Roses and it's far away. So, what to do? Hope against hope. Have faith in Guru, have faith in Gauranga, have faith in our founder Acharya. Prabhupada came for a purpose. He didn't waste his time. He was hopeful. He had faith. He said one time, I came to your country and I was successful because of 2 things. I had faith in the instructions of my spiritual master, and I had faith in the holy names of Krishna. That's all it takes. I asked Tamal Krishna Goswami one time, because I was just starting to initiate. And I said, Goswami Maharaj, what do I look for in a candidate for initiation? Because maybe some people will come. So what do I look for? What's the most important quality a disciple can have? He immediately shot back, good initiative. Faith in the spiritual master. Again, Yasha Devi Para Bhaktir Yatta Tevata Guru. This devotee is Krishna's representative. Krishna has sent him to me. He found me. I didn't find him. Gaurangi Dasi, disciple of Shivaram Maharaj, in her Vyas Puja offering, brought me to tears. She was reading her offering. She said, Guru Maharaj, it took you so long to find me. Please never kick me away. I thought, wow, that's... It took you, we didn't go looking. It took you so long to find me. Please never kick me away. So the race isn't over till it's over. But we have to have lowly, we have to have greed for this, because you don't know how much time we have. How many old people are in this room? Nowadays, whenever I'm on a bus and on a train, I'm the oldest guy around. There's not so many old people because where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls pick them every one. When will they ever learn? When? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? The cannonballs took them one by one. When will they ever... Anti-war song. When will they ever learn? The 1960s. The counterculture. The hippies who became happies in San Francisco. So, we don't know how much time we have. There's just very few people, old people here, because all the flowers have gone. They've all been picked. All the older people, one by one, they go. So while you're young, and you have sharp intelligence, and a keen mind, and powerful senses, use that in your youth to build your foundation in Krishna consciousness. You can't build a house unless there's a strong foundation. So youth is meant for acquiring knowledge and practicing that knowledge. Not maybe Hare Krishna, maybe not. I don't want high school. All the boys look at me and all the girls look, No. Maybe I'll go to the movies every Sunday. No. When you're a teenager, stay strong. And you can stay strong if every day you chant 16 rounds. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Then middle age will be much easier. You'll have your education, kindergarten, grade school, secondary school here. You go to university, you get a master's, you get a PhD, you get a career. Boom. That I always recommend my disciples to go as far as they can to set a foundation. And then in middle age, you'll have more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. And old age is meant for realizations. We have the knowledge, but by seva, that jnana becomes vijnana. Tadvidi paripatena paripashana sevaya. You approach the spiritual precept with the spiritual teacher. You inquire from him. And then sevaya, paripashana sevaya. You do some service for Prabhupada. Do it with devotion. It doesn't have, you don't have to distribute 1,000 books a day. You can clean the altar and worship with some affection and love the deities. Do some seva. And if you do that your whole life, in your old age, some vijnana, some realization will come. Yes, this is a nasty place. I'm out of here. Back home, back to Godhead, keep. Then you die. My mother, bless her soul, she was a scientist. She was an atheist. And when I came home like this, the first time, she had the whole, she tried to faint. Brian, this isn't about God, is it? Mama, it's all about God. His name is Krishna, he's blue, he's a little boy, and he plays a flute. Then she fainted. So I'd come home, and my mom, every year on my birthday, I'd send my mom 24 red roses. She'd go, Brian, why are you sending me roses on your birthday? I said, Mom, you carried this big lump of matter 9 months in your belly, and you changed my nappies, and you raised me. I have, so much respect for my mother and father. They were scientists, but they gave me this opportunity. Anyway, to make a long story short, some years ago, Mom came down with cancer, throat cancer. And I didn't know. I didn't know. And I was in London, and the phone rang at 2:30 in the morning. Who's hello? Brian, this is your mother. What? Mom, it's 2:30. I want to go to Vrindavan. She used to tease me sometimes, your world, the little boy, the little blue boy. So I thought she was, we'd have these arguments and she'd tease me. I want to go to Vrindavan. Mom, and she had a drinking problem. Mom, you've been drinking. No, I want to go to Vrindavan. Mom, did you know it's 2:30? I know, she said, you're in London. Mom, this is ridiculous. I'll call you back when I get up at 6. And I hung the phone up on her. And I got up at 6 and I took a shower and put on my tea log and chanted a couple of rounds. Oh yeah, Mom. She wants to go to Vrindavan. So I called the number. And my brother answered the phone. I hadn't seen my brother in years and years and years. I heard later he'd sometimes come home to steal money from her. So he answered the phone. I say, hey, Peter Butter. Peter Butter, pumpkin eater, how to wife and cream keeper. Maharaj, we're going to cancel this class. That's actually a fact about my brother. So I said, let me speak to Mom. Silence. Peter, I'm your older brother. Give me the phone. I want to speak to Mom. Silence. Peter, he said, Brian, she just died. My heart sank. It's actually, you feel that when you get this news. My heart sank. I said, wait a minute. I just talked to her. He said, yeah, after you hung up, she died. I said, what happened? What did she die of? He said, cancer. She's had it for 6 months, 4th stage. And I said, why didn't she tell me? He said, well, I came home after a long time away, and I saw her like that, and I said she should tell you, but she said, no, I don't want to disturb the good work Brian is doing. What good work? She used to just criticize everything. I said, what happened? Did she say anything when she died? He said, yes. She died. She's here. She's right in front of me. She's in my arms. She said something really weird when she died. She looked at me in the eyes, my brother said, and she said, Peter, don't lament for me. I'm not this body. I'm going to... I'm still here after 54 years, standing Hare Krishna. Hey, Mama, I said, how did that happen? He said, well, she was a scientist. She believed in, all the material formulas and this and that. But when she got the cancer notice, she said she just didn't feel that she would actually die. She said, I'm a living force, and the body's going to die, but and then she said to my brother, go out in the garage. Your big brother sent me about 10 or 12 Bhagavad Gita's and Shima Bhagabhams, a nectar of emotion. They're all in the corner. They've been stored for 12 years. They're full of grease and dust. Bring the Bhagavad Gita. So my brother said, clean it up. It's a sacred book. My brother was like, what's going on? So then she would, my brother said she would sit on the porch every day. No medicine. She was resigned to go. It was 4th stage. He said, and she would just read Bhagavad Gita. Hours and hours and hours. And sometimes he said, I could see she was very emotional. Her eyes would fill with tears. I said, Mom, what is it? She said, you won't understand. So then she learned somehow that I had a tape ministry. My tapes, in London at one time, we were just having those cassettes. This is a few years ago. So she said, I've learned that your brother has a tape ministry with 1,000 lectures. Order them all! DHL, fast. had this big box. And he stacked them up. Every day she'd listen to 5 lectures. And then she'd cross-reference with the Bhagavad Gita. I saw the Gita later on, jumping ahead. Arrow here, ask Brian this. Is it how to confirm this? Which scripture is this in? It's not in the Gita. And these yellow mark, green, blue. I was shocked. She was an intelligent woman. She was Phi Beta Kappa from Stanford University, which is the top intelligent person, in that prestigious uni. So he said, she said, 6 in the morning, she'd read the Gita till noon, and from noon to 6 in the evening, she'd listen to your lectures. So, she wanted to be cremated, and her ashes, many, many years ago, have her ashes thrown in the Pacific Ocean, because this is San Francisco. So my brother, he was a hobo, he left home, he was a street person, homeless, like that. So they just came and took the body and took it to the funeral parlor. And I flew home because nobody had any money, and there were certain things to tie up, to pay for everything. And I went to the funeral parlor, and I came in. I had $800 with me, and I came to the counter. I said, "Sir, I'm here to pay for the funeral and the burning of my mother's body and the ashes which you put into the Pacific Ocean." He said, "Oh, you're her son, Mrs. Tibbetts." I said, "Yes, I'm here. Here's the $800. He said, "Oh my gosh," he said, "we cremated her, but we forgot to put her ashes in the ocean. I'm sorry, you keep the money. This is a big fault. You keep the $800, and we'll put the ashes in tomorrow morning." I said, "Give me the ashes." and it was a box, it was really heavy, we're pure devotees on the path, and there's human nature. That was my mom. She changed my nappies. So I took, and I was "Mom, you said Krishna, your last breath, you said Krishna." Can you imagine? She said Krishna. Well, certainly Krishna heard, especially, she caught up with me in 6 months. My 54 years, she caught up. I think she surpassed me. So then I took the ashes and I went straight to the airport because I have a 10-year visa, had a 10-year visa. And I got on a plane. And I flew to Delhi. And I got out, I think it was summertime. I got out, and then I told the taxi driver to wait, and I put on a gumsha. I walked to the Jamuna. I walked in the Jamuna, because summer it was low up to here, and I took the silver urn out. I said, "Mom, you wanted to come to Vrindavan. You wanted to come to Vrindavan, and as your oldest son, I'm doing my duty. Mom, welcome to Braj." My poor angel. And this beautiful silver urn, because the ashes, we consider that not so pure, so I left it in the water and started floating down. So I just, to pray for my mom's deliverance. She was probably already delivered, but just to think about, when you lose someone, you pray for them, so forth. Like this evening, we're praying for one devotee's mother. This is why I'm sharing this story with you, because if someone's a devotee, if someone's just connected to a devotee, or someone just knows a devotee, what is their destination? It's so exalted. So I sat down next to Keshigat, and I'm Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. And a sadhu comes, sits next to me, like really skinny, torn cloth, this big top knot like this, Raghupati Raghavarajaram Pati Pavana Shitaram. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then that pot came floating down past Keshigat. It must have got stuck in some reeds or something like that. and he jumped in the water. And he waded out and he got it. I didn't say anything. Then he came back and he had a pile of fruit. So he cut up the fruit and put it in the pot and started eating it. So I thought of my mom. Prashad Sevaya. Sadhu Seva. She, even in her, Lord knows where she is. Even after she left, she's serving sadhus. Bless my mom. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But we have to be 100% surrendered. We have a high goal, so don't waste time. Don't procrastinate. Procrastinate means you put off for tomorrow what you can do today. Because when that moment comes, I think my mom got some special grace. She chanted with, Brian, take me to Vrindavan, moment of death. I'm not this body, but to Krishna. Prabhupada's so kind. So we may make it, but maybe not. So we want to be 100% surrendered. Not hold back on these desire to go to the fjord and sail off a boat and, whatever I had that idea in my mind. Anything, even the tiniest desire is an obstacle on the path of pure devotion. We want to be 100% surrendered. I'll finish with a nice pastime that will inspire us with a desire to give up all our hopes for happiness in this world and fully embrace Krishna consciousness. Once Draupadi came to Lord Krishna. It was, you know the story from Mahabharata, it was just after her painful experience of having been lost in the gambling match. The Pandavas lost her to the Kauravas. And what's more, humiliated by the attempt of Dushashan to strip her naked in assembly of men. We don't need to elaborate on that. And during that ordeal, Dushashan, he tried his best. And she tried, and he was just disrobing her. And, at the last moment, finally at the last minute, Krishna appeared and supplied her an unlimited sari. So after this happened, Draupadi came to visit Krishna. And Krishna said, "Oh, you've come? Yes, I have a question, Krishna." "You have a question?" With tears in her eyes, she asked Krishna, "Why did it take you so long?" It took you so long to... He was disrobing me. Why did you take so long to give me your mercy in the form of the sari? So Krishna said, "Draupadi, listen carefully. At first, you called out my name, 'Oh, Krishna!' But then, your attention went to Arjuna and Bhim. You know the story, right? You took shelter of Arjuna and Bhim. You said, 'Arjuna, Bhim, can't you see what's happening to your wife? They are violating my chastity right before your eyes. Arjuna and Bhim, do something.'" So Krishna says, hearing that, I thought, well, I was not really needed. She didn't call for me. Then Draupadi said, "But after that, you could have come, Krishna." Krishna said, "Yes, but after that, you took shelter of Drona, the teacher of the Kauravas and the Pandavas. You said, 'Drona, you're a Brahmin. How can you tolerate this?' And I thought, she's not calling me. I guess I'm not needed," Krishna's thinking. Then he said to Draupadi, After that, you took shelter of Bhishma, the powerful warrior and most respected grandfather. And after he wouldn't help you, you went to Dhritarashtra and then to all the kings. And I'm thinking, well, there she goes. And then finally, you tried to protect yourself by holding onto your sari with two hands. And I thought, Draupadi thinks she's very strong. She thinks she can fight Dushashan. Perhaps I should go, Krishna said. I was thinking, perhaps I should go. Then you threw one of your hands like this. You appealed to me like this. One hand called to me. And I thought, she's calling to me, but she's still pulling on her sari, believing on her own strength. Her hands are like, Krishna. Only when you dropped the sari and you raised both hands, you called out to me, hey Krishna, hey Govinda, hey Madhusudan, help! The exact words are actually Mahabharata. It's in the Mahabharata, I found it, chapter 67, verses 82 and 83. Would you like to hear them? What she said at that moment. She just, none of these personalities could help her. Even her own effort to hold the sari didn't help. She said, she just, like this is what we want to be when we die. Just fully surrendered. And what did she say? Oh Govinda, O resident of Dwarka, O Krishna, O friend of the gopis, do you not know I am being humiliated by the Kauravas? O Lord of Lakshmi, O Lord of Braj, O destroyer of afflictions, save me! I am drowning in the ocean of the Kauravas. O Janardhan, O Krishna, O best of yogis, O soul of the world, O origin of the world, please protect the surrendered soul. O Govinda, I surrender to you, for I am sinking in the midst of the Kurus. Then Krishna sent the sari. So it's instructive. When we want only Krishna, we've fallen out of love with this world and everything is connected to. We put up our hands at the moment of death, like my mom. Krishna. So that's our goal. We know what the goal is. Fully surrendered. Give up everything. It takes practice, but it's within our reach. It's within our reach. Because Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said in an initiation lecture in 1931, I read it in Harmonious. I'll close with this statement. I see no reason why all my disciples cannot go back to Godhead in one lifetime. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.